Have you ever wondered what the pedals on a piano are for? What are their names, and how does a pianist use them to create beautiful music? Let me answer each of those questions for you. We'll even take a look inside the piano to see how each of these pedals work. The most frequently used pedal on the piano is the one on the far right, and this is called the damper pedal, or also known as the sustain pedal. If you have a digital keyboard with only one pedal, this one will be the damper pedal. The reason it's called the damper pedal is because it allows the pianist to raise or lower the dampers whenever they desire. To understand how this works, we'll need to look at the dampers inside the piano. These are small wooden pieces that have a felt wedge or block under them, and they sit on top of the strings when the keys are not being played. When a note is pressed on the keyboard, the piano action raises the damper so the hammer can hit the strings from underneath, producing the sound. When the key is released, the damper is lowered onto the strings to stop or damp the sound. In an upright piano, the dampers and hammers are configured vertically instead of horizontally, but the concept is the same. When the damper pedal is pressed down, all the dampers are lifted. When the damper pedal is released, the dampers are lowered back onto the strings. This is one of the most remarkable features on the piano, as it gives a musician impeccable control over the sound quality. Notes and chords that were formerly disconnected from each other can now be played smoothly and beautifully with the damper pedal. The piano and the harp are the only two instruments in the world that have a damper pedal. Now, take a listen to what the piano sounds like when it's played without the damper pedal. Here's what the same piece sounds like when it's played with the pedal. Did you notice a difference in the sound? Tell me which one you like better in the comments. Let's look at the middle pedal, which on a grand piano is called the Sostenuto Pedal. Not all pianos have a pedal in the center, and even if your piano does, it may not work properly since it's not used a lot. I've been playing the piano for over 13 years, and I have yet to play a piece that needed the Sostenuto pedal. This pedal may not be used very often, but it has an interesting function that you'll want to see. The Sostenuto pedal is so named because it allows you to select which bass notes you want to sustain. To see this in action, play a note or chord in the bass, and then press down the Sostenuto pedal and hold it there. This kind of locks the dampers on these notes in their raised position, sustaining the sound even if you release these notes or play other notes. You can add another layer to the sound by using the damper pedal along with the Sostenuto pedal. The dampers not sustained by the Sostenuto pedal will be raised and lowered as normal with the damper pedal. Even if you never need this skill for a piece, it's a great way to experiment with different pedaling techniques and to have some fun. Here's what the Sostenuto and the damper pedal sound like when they're used together. If you have an upright piano, the center pedal may not have the Sostenuto or selective sustain function. Many uprights have the center pedal as a practice pedal. Pressing this pedal lowers the volume of the piano for practice so it doesn't disturb others. On some pianos, pressing this practice pedal locks a sheet of felt in place called a mute rail between the hammers and the strings to soften the sound. Modern pianos with a silent feature will drop a mute rail when this pedal is pressed, using technology to route digital sound through headphones to the pianist, simulating the sound of the hammers hitting the strings. If this video has been helpful to you so far, please hit that like button so others can learn more about the piano pedals. The last pedal, which is on the left, is called the soft or una corda pedal. This one softens the sound of the piano, making each hammer strike quieter. You'll find this pedal used occasionally in piano music, so it's good to know how it works. But what does una corda mean? It's Italian for one string, but to fully understand the reason for this name, let's take a look inside the piano. If you look closely at the strings on a piano, you'll notice that some notes have only one string, like in the low bass, while others have two, and many of the notes actually have 3 strings. Why have multiple strings for the same note? Most of the notes on a piano need multiple strings to sound simultaneously to increase the volume. If there was only one string per note, it would be too quiet to hear some notes over the louder, lower notes. When you press a note down on the keyboard, the hammer rises to hit the strings above it, whether that's 1, 2, or 3 strings. But what happens when we press the una corda pedal? Look closely at the hammer. Did you see how the hammer moved to the right when I pressed the una corda pedal? Now, when I press the same key again while keeping the una corda pedal depressed, the hammer hits only 2 out of the 3 strings. On a note with 2 strings, it will hit only 1. This softens the tone of the piano across the keyboard.
In early pianos, there were only 1 or 2 strings per note.
Which means that when this mechanism was used, only 1 string would actually sound, thus giving this feature the name una corda, or 1 string. But how do the hammers move to the right? When you press the soft pedal, the entire piano keyboard and all the action components inside the piano actually shift to the right. On an upright piano, the soft pedal will simply move the hammers closer to the strings, reducing the distance that the hammer needs to travel to make a sound. This doesn't change the tonal quality like the una corda pedal does on a grand piano, but it does soften the sound. Not all uprights have a soft pedal, but don't worry if yours doesn't. You won't need it that often. To hear the una corda pedal in action, listen to the piano without the soft pedal first. Now, see if you can hear the difference with the soft pedal pressed down. As you can hear, using the soft pedal is a powerful way to subtly tweak the tone and volume of the piano, which gives the pianist even greater control over the music they play. Did you find this helpful? If so, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any piano lessons or tips from my channel. If you're looking for more information about playing with the damper pedal, don't miss this great video about beginner piano techniques coming up in a few seconds. Happy piano playing!